Grant. I'm here to tell you about the craziest day of my life. Well, around that time, I was visiting some family members and went down to downtown to see some of the attractions and sights of New York. It was around 9 a.m. and I was walking around with my cousin. I was on, I believe it was Maiden Lane. It was probably around 2 blocks away from World Trade Center. The day was insane. I never would have expected what happened afterwards. It seriously came out of nowhere. It was such just a loud roar. I thought it was an earthquake, really. And I yelled something. What's that? What's that? And we look up and boom. It was crazy. There was smoke all around them. After that plane hit, it was just hysteria. At first, I just hear people yelling and screaming. And we still didn't really know what was going on. And then people started running. We saw people running. What's happening? What's happening? They say a plane just hit the tower of the World Trade Center. And we just kind of stood there shocked. Kind of slowly started making our way with the rest of the pack and ran off. While we were running from the explosion, we could only guess. We couldn't clearly see too well, but we were just following the crowd. There were people just getting trampled and crushed. I mean, people were in hysteria. And we decided to stop running and see what's going on. So that's what we did, and found a nice little spot and just kind of watched the horror for a while. Boom. I was so scared, and for a while, me and my buddy, we just kind of stood there and watched the smoke and the hysteria. It was just crazy, and people were still running in every which directions. Sirens are going off. Even from where we were, you could look up there and see people waving out of the just huge hole. Yeah, it was crazy. There was smoke all around them, and people were jumping out, and that was one of the craziest things I ever saw. Was when I saw people dropping. It's kind of a realization, It was just crazy. And then the first tower collapsed. I kind of heard a loud cracking, and then just a huge roar. And by that time, we were kind of around a corner, and we looked back, and all you could just see was smoke, this gigantic cloud of smoke, and we just ran with the crowd as fast as we could. It was like a horror movie. I'll never forget that day. It was insane. And I remember we got to this bridge and heard this other huge explosion. We looked back, and there was the other tower coming down along with the other. Another huge plume of smoke just went through the sky. It was unbelievable. I'd have to say that is the first and still, luckily, only time I've ever seen a person die, and that was probably in the worst way to possibly see him. That was by far the scariest day of my life. By far.